previous lecture we have discussed about RGB color model and CMYK color model. Now the next color model that we will consider is the HSI color model, that is hue, saturation and intensity model. So as we have mentioned in the last lecture that both RGB and CMYK, they are actually hardware oriented. The RGB color model is oriented towards the color display, and the CMY or CMYK models are oriented towards color printer. But when it comes to human interpretation, we have discussed that we do not really think of that a given particular color, how much of red component, how much of green and how much blue component is contained in a particular color. But what we really think of is what is the prominent color in a specified color. So what we have is hue, which tells us what is the prominent color, prominent primary color or the spectrum color. Saturation indicates that how much white light has been added to appear to dilute the spectrum color. And then we have this component intensity, which is actually chromatic notation of brightness. Now given a color in RGB space, can we convert that to HSI space? Yeah. Now this HSI model has other importance also in addition to human interpretation, because you see that this HSI model, it decouples the intensity information from the color information. So this I gives the intensity information, whereas H and S gives the chromatic information. So as we can decouple the chromatic information from the intensity information, many of the image processing algorithm which we have discussed on gray level images, they can be applied on images specified in the HSI space. So we have this I component, which is nothing but can be considered similar to the grayscale image. So whatever algorithm which we have discussed so far on the grayscale images can be applied to the images specified in the HSI images. Now so the conversion of image from RGB space is to HSI space is very important. Now let us see how we can convert an image specified in RGB space to HSI image. Now in order to do this, what we can do is we can reorient the RGB cube in such a way that the black point or the origin of the RGB cube is capped at the bottom and the white comes directly above it, as shown here. So this is the black one which comes at the bottom and white comes directly above it. And this line joining the black and white represents the intensity axis. Any point on this particular line would not show any color information. This is similar to this is same as what we have discussed in RGB color model. So this will not contain any color information, but it will have different shades of gray. Now suppose we have a color point specified within this RGB tube. For this color point, now our aim is how we can convert this RGB specification into HSI specification. So as we have said that the line joining black and white, this line is the intensity axis. So in the HSI space, I can very easily compute the intensity component, because for this point, say X, I can represent this point as a vector joining from black to this particular point. And the intensity component that is associated with this RGB value is nothing but projection of this vector on the intensity axis. So if I project this vector on the intensity axis, then the length of this projection tells us what is the intensity component associated with this particular RGB specified color point. Now to get this, what I can do is, we can just pass a plane which is perpendicular to the intensity axis and containing this particular point X. So the point at which this plane will cut the intensity axis represent the intensity associated with the RGB components specified for this particular point X. So this is how we can compute the intensity component, and then once we have find this, the next component we find is saturation. So let's see how we can compute the saturation. So as we have seen that the line joining black and white is intensity axis, and any point on the intensity axis has only gray shades. This does not have any color component. So you can say that the saturation associated with all the RGB points lying on this intensity axis is equals to 0. And the saturation will increase as we move away from this intensity axis. So keeping that in mind, we can say that the distance of this point X from the intensity axis gives us the saturation associated with this point X. So this was your intensity and this is your saturation. Now the next is computation of the hue component. So you see in this diagram we have, let me just clean it. Yeah. Now you can see in this diagram we have shown a plane which passing through these points black, white and cyan. Now from our earlier discussion on chromaticity diagram, we know that color component of any point in this particular plane, the plane which is defined by these 3 points, white, black and cyan, for any point the color components can be specified by the linear combination of these 3 points. This we have discussed in the chromaticity diagram also. If you remember, we have joined the line and all those points have the same color. So these were the 3 color points, and any point, the RGB value of any point is the combination of these 3 colors. So similarly here also the color components can be specified by linear combination of these 3 points, cyan, white and black. Now because white is a balanced color which contains all the primary components in equal proportion, and black does not contain any color component. So these 2 points, white and black, cannot contribute to the hue component associated with this point lying in this plane. So the only point which can contribute to the hue is the cyan. So all the points lying in this plane, the hue will be same as the hue associated with this point, and that is cyan. Now here, if I rotate this plane around this intensity axis by an angle of 360 degree, suppose in this way, then I can generate all possible hues to every possible RGB point in this RGB color cube. Now in order to do that, what I do is like this. Suppose I take projection of that RGB cube on a plane which is perpendicular to the intensity axis. So if I take the projection, then the different vertices of the cube will be projected on a hexagon as shown here. So the 2 vertices corresponding to the red and black, they will be projected at the 2 vertices corresponding to the white and black, they will be projected at the center of the hexagon. So this point will be projected point for both white and black, and the other primary colors of light and the primary colors of pigment will be projected at different vertices of this hexagon. Now if we draw a line joining the center of the hexagon to all the vertices of the hexagon, then red and green, they will be separated by an angle of 120 degrees. Similarly, blue and red will also be separated by an angle of 120 degree. In the same manner, for the secondary colors yellow and cyan, they will be separated by an angle of 120 degree. However, the angle of separation between red and yellow is equals to 60 degree. So now you will find that the projection of that shaded plane, so this shaded plane, so the projection of the shaded plane will be a straight line, this. And as we rotated the plane by 360 degree, around the intensity axis. So this is our intensity axis. This is both black and white. So this, if we rotate the plane by 360 degree around the intensity axis, this particular straight line will also be rotated around the center of the hexagon. Now this gave us a hint that how we can find out the hue associated with a particular color point specified in the RGB color space. So the hue can be computed like this, that it is the angle between the straight line which is the projection of the shaded plane with one of the primary colors. And normally this primary color is taken as red, and this angle is normally measured in anti-clockwise direction. So that using this particular convention, the red will have a hue which is given by 0 degrees, and as we rotate the shaded plane around this intensity axis, this particular straight line which is the projection of the plane will also be rotated by 360 degree, and as it is rotated, the hue is going to be increased. Now given this particular concept, that is how we can obtain the hue, saturation and intensity components for any color specified in RGB color space, we can find out that if we follow the geometry of this particular formulation, we can have very easily very easy relations to compute H, S and I from the RGB components. So here the U component, the H will simply be given by an angle theta, and as we have said that this theta is measured anti-clockwise. So from direction anti-clockwise from the direction of red. So this will be equal to theta if the blue component is less than or equal to the green component, and it will be 360 minus theta if blue component is greater than the green component. So this is how we can compute the U component in the HSI model, where the value of theta is given by this relation. And similarly we can compute saturation and intensity. And in all these relations, R is the red component, G is the green component and B is the blue component of color specified in the RGB space. So as we have converted from RGB space to this HSI space, similarly we should also be able to convert any color specified in the HSI space into the components in the RGB space. So far we have done RGB to HSI. Now to do the inverse conversion, the corresponding expression can be found as that whenever we want to convert HSI to RGB, there are three regions of interest. The one region is RG region, and in RG region H lies between 0 degree to 120 degrees. The other region is GB region, and in GB region H lies between 120 degree to 240 degrees. And the third region is BR region, in which H lies between 240 degrees and 360 degrees. And in all these regions we can compute RGB components using these simple relationships. So if we want to manipulate image under HSI model, first we need to convert RGB to HSI image. This we have already seen. We can apply image processing operation in this color space, and then again once we have applied various image processing operations, we can convert this HSI image to RGB image again, so that it can be visualized or it can be used for display purpose. Now this is the diagram in which we have shown the effects of different components H, S and I on the colors. So in the first row, U is equal to 0 and intensity is equals to 128, and here in the first rectangle saturation is equal to 255, and this as we have said that U is measured from the red axis, so from red line U is equals to 0 degree, and the saturation which is equals to 255, it means that it is the pure color which has intensity 128. For other rectangles U and intensity remains same, but we keep on decreasing the saturation. So as we move from left to right, this red is becoming milky gradually because we are adding some white component in these. We are decreasing the white component or white light in these rectangles. Similarly, if we see the next row, here U again is 0, which represents red, and it is the saturation is kept same 255, but we keep on changing intensity. The intensity decreases as we move from left to right. So as you can see that different rectangles still show red color, but it appears that some white light means some intensity has been decreased, and in the third row saturation is same and intensity is same for all these 4 rectangles, but U is different, and since U has changed, so the color has been changed completely. So this U is very important. If you see that if we have non-uniform illumination, at some portion it may appear, suppose we have a piece of object, rectangular object, which is of green color, and it has non-uniform illumination, that is at some part it may appear dark green in color, and at some position due to non-uniform illumination it may appear very light green because some reflections are also there, so it may appear light green, and and other areas it may have different shades of green. Plus we have light green and dark green. It again can be the effect of intensities, non-uniform illumination, light due to some shadow effect, but they all will have same hue. So we can say that hue remains unchanged in non-uniform illumination as well. Now suppose we have discussed this example in the morphology example also. Suppose I want to extract elephant out of this picture, and if I apply if I want to separate all the color components of the elephant in RGB space, RGB color model, due to intensity variations, due to illumination variations also, there will be very large number of colors which I need to identify, and these colors may be similar to road or any other object here. So instead of processing this image, since it has some shadow and lighting effect elephant, but we know that hue should be, it may have different I and S, but H should be more or less same. So what we do is we first convert this RGB image into HSI image, then we identify a range in which the intensities which or hue which belongs to this elephant lie. Once we identify the range of the hue of the pixels belonging to this elephant, we can select those pixels and ignore others. So when we do this, this is the image which we have obtained. There may be other objects which have similar hue as that of elephant. In that case, we may have a set of H, S and I values which give us this region. Now then we apply simple morphology. We apply some dilation. When we apply dilation, we get this region. So most of the pixels which belong to elephant are now connected. Then we can segment the largest connected component and ignore the small connected component. So this is the result. Now the boundaries are not very smooth. To smooth the boundaries, we can apply any mean filter, or we can apply opening and closing. So this is the result. Now the borders have been smooth. This acts as a mask, and then we can apply logical operation on this image and the original RGB image to extract the elephant part. So this is all about various color models. In the next class, we will discuss about some color image processing operations.